Welcome to your wish fulfilled, becoming your future self right now. We pull your future self into this present moment. That's the point of this podcast, is to come into that feeling that you've already attained everything. Today we're diving into the law of forgiveness and why forgiveness is so important to manifest what we want, because negative emotions, resentment, is not the sort of energy that we want to continue, is it? We don't want to manifest more problems where we have to forgive people. We don't want to manifest things where we feel resentment. So if we're feeling it now, and we have lingering resentment either towards ourselves or other people, then we are likely to manifest more of that. So to begin with, let's just take a moment to hold the vision of what you'd love to create. Just think of this beautiful, ideal, higher self, your future self. Just taking a few gentle deep breaths and letting go. And as you breathe out, just opening yourself to this future reality where you've attained everything. And most importantly, you feel deep in your heart, you feel completely relaxed, deeply content and satisfied. Everything is just wonderful, and you're feeling full, whole, and complete within yourself and in your life. And just noticing the good feelings in your body. Wave of good feelings washing through you, washing over you. And just enjoying those deep breaths, breath of relief, good feelings. You're just feeling so nourished. And all is well, all is blessed. It's all good, it's all good. Ah, yes. Just feeling you've attained everything. This is the key thing, If you've been studying law of attraction, manifestation, you know it's all about the feelings. And one of the hardest things in this manifestation journey is just to constantly come back to those good feelings and convince the part of you that wants it. Where is it? I want it. Where is it? I haven't got it yet. When am I going to get it? I want this thing. So there's this needy part of us that hasn't got something and it wants it, right? I want. And then there's this experience where you have everything, right? We have to jump into that. We have to move into that. We have to embrace that feeling. And it's so important to remind ourselves that the feeling is everything. And part of us can say, well, yeah, but it isn't really, because you want the thing. But why do we want the thing that we think we want? If you could have everything you wanted in your life, right? Everything you want, let's say you want new house, new car, new relationship, new this, new that, blah, 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 right? X number of followers and whatever, right? And let's imagine you had that, but you were deeply depressed and suicidal. Would you really still want it then? No, you'd say, take it away, get rid of it, right? Because if it didn't make us happy and relaxed and peaceful, we wouldn't want it. So we think we want these things, but really what we're actually looking for is what those things will make us feel, what we hope they'll make us feel when we get them. And so when it comes down to it, we are seeking experiences all the time, and we don't realize that's what we're doing. So the purpose of this podcast is to basically remind us, and I'm doing this partly for myself as well, to be perfectly honest with you, because I can still get caught up in running around trying to do stuff to get things to feel good. So I'm like, hang on a minute, let's just all just feel we've attained everything, have a big smile, enjoy ourselves, and then we'll manifest more easily and we can enjoy being alive now. Right? Enjoy the moment now. Wouldn't that be wonderful to have a life where you enjoy the step-by-step process? You're feeling full. You enjoy what you're doing. Every day is a blessing. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Ah, yes. So today we're diving into the law of forgiveness. We've been studying this great book, manifestation classic, The Game of Life and How to Play It. And one of the things in the book is the law of karma and the law of forgiveness. The author didn't actually talk much about the law of forgiveness, so I'm just going to share some essential insights about this. You probably have heard that resentment is like drinking rat poison ourselves and hoping the rat die. Isn't that a good one? Resentment is like drinking rat poison and hoping the rat will die. I know somebody who had a fallout with a neighbor and refuses to talk to his neighbor for years and years and years, right? And so what is he doing? He's just poisoning himself unnecessarily. What good is it doing for the relationship or his life? Nothing. It's just negativity. So it's years of suffering unnecessarily. What a waste of time. So we often have people who we are not happy with, or in many cases we might be all right with everyone else, but we're not happy with ourselves. So how can we forgive others and forgive ourselves? This is a very, very deep thing, because we might not even realize the resentments and the negativity we hold because we're focused on other things and we're not paying attention. But if we've made mistakes in our life, we might have a negative feeling about that within ourselves, and that's messing up our manifestation. We might not even believe we deserve things. We might think, you know what, I had made all these mistakes, I'm not sure I can really manifest all these great things because I don't deserve it. This is an unconscious pattern that can be going on. Or we might have done things to other people and we think, you know what, they might not forgive me, I don't deserve it for that. Or we might just have negative things happen to us by others and have some sort of negative feeling that's blocking us. So whether it's we did something to ourselves, we did something to someone else, or someone did something to us, either way, this is all stored negative energy that we need to clear out if we want to open ourselves to freedom and newness. Ultimately, the way to forgive ourselves and others, because by the way, you can't force anyone to forgive you. You can ask for forgiveness. You can try and make amends. You can tell people you're sincerely, sincerely sorry, and that what can you do to make it right. So there's lots of things you can do in that regard, but at the end of the day, it's up to them, right? We're not going to talk about other people forgiving you in this session. That's a different topic. You can look into that more if you need to. We're going to talk about forgiving others and forgiving ourselves. The thing that allows us to forgive, to let go of resentment, the thing that really works is realizing and finding the benefit of the things that happened. The reason we don't forgive ourselves and other people is because we haven't found the secret benefit in whatever happened. We hold a vision that the thing that happened was terrible, 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 and there wasn't any benefit, so now I've got this negative feeling. I shouldn't have done that thing, that was a bad thing that I did, so I don't like myself. And that person shouldn't have done that thing to me, it was awful, there's no benefit in it, so we're holding this negative energy as a way to try and protect ourselves. But when we find the benefit, when we rewrite the past in our mind and in our heart, when we look back on it and say, that thing actually, even though it was awful at the time, actually turned out to be extremely useful for me now for these reasons, and we really believe that, we feel that, when we get to that point, then forgiveness is automatic. In fact, there's nothing to forgive. But when we don't feel there's been some magic benefit here, then we can't let go. And who is in control of this? We are. We're the ones who interpret and make meaning out of everything. We're meaning makers, human beings. We make meaning. Things are just happening. Right? You go into the store and you see so-and-so and this happens and that happens. We interpret everything and create meanings. If someone fails, they could say, oh, it means I'm no good and no one likes me and my life's a disaster and it's never going to work. Someone else could fail in the same way and they could say, oh, that must mean that I need to do this differently and I need to learn this and practice this, and it was really, really useful, and it turns out that learning I got from that failure has made me very, very wealthy. So we are making meaning, and we can make meaning out of our past mistakes or things people did to us that we don't like. We have to rewrite our past in order to genuinely forgive. I'll give an example, and I'm not going to give away too many details here. It's a sort of secret thing. We all have our little things that happen in our life. But I remember going through some challenges many, many years ago, and I wasn't happy with a certain situation. I knew it wasn't right, and I knew I needed to get out of it, right? Because we get into different situations with different people, different things happening, and sometimes it's just not an aligned thing. Something's off about it, and we're not quite sure how to get out of it, right? So I ended up in a situation where I did something which I regretted afterwards, and I thought, well, I shouldn't have done that. That was a bad thing to do. What can I learn from this? And I felt bad about it. I had to forgive myself. Well, I was having a hard time forgiving myself about it. But looking back years and years later, I realized that those things that happened were absolutely perfectly designed from my unconscious. Like, there was a deeper part of me that knew that certain things had to happen in order to get out of this situation and turn it around and make something better come of it. So in order to end something that wasn't good for me, I needed to do something that I really, in the moment, wasn't happy about, but has led me to a wonderful feeling of freedom, newness, and opened up all these new opportunities. Now, at the time, I didn't feel good about it, and I was wondering what was going on. But now, I can see that that was absolutely pristine perfection. Like really and truly, like over the top, perfect on every level. It's just amazing, actually. And there have been other situations where people have done stuff that to me is very unreasonable and awful, frankly. You know, that's my initial interpretation. Like, what is wrong with these people? Selfish, short-sighted. You know, I can have a whole list of descriptions about how terrible certain people are and what they did. But then it made me do things to get away from that, or to turn that around, or rectify that, or whatever, that actually made my entire life significantly better later on. So in retrospect, everything's more clear. So what I'd encourage you to do, what I'd like you to do, if you want to really overcome this negative energy of resentment, you literally need to look at exactly what happened, how it made you feel, and then what are all the secret hidden benefits. If you haven't got any benefit out of it, it's about time you did, because when you do, then you can let go of resentment until you find some benefit. I mean, it might be as simple as don't do this thing with these people, or it might be you learnt a lesson about how to avoid something or how to do something differently. I mean, it might be a really basic lesson, but there's got to be some benefit in it. And when you find it, when you really say, okay, that actually has helped my life. Once you get that, then you can let go. You can forgive. You can say, I forgive myself and I forgive this person. They did the best they could at the time. Even if what they did was terrible on all levels, they still were doing the best they could, all things considered. You have to remember that people do stupid, crazy things, and we do stupid, crazy things because we're under the influence of negative emotions. If you go on the news and you see the most awful things happening, why is it happening? It's because people are under the influence of negative emotions and negative programming. That's why they're doing stupid, crazy things, dark, evil things. Anyone in their right mind wouldn't do stuff like that. But they're not in their right mind, which is why they're doing the things they're doing. So we need to realize that people aren't just actively trying to cause all these problems. They're under an external influence. That doesn't mean they're not going to reap the reward of that, you know, the negative consequences. But it just helps us understand how is it possible for terrible things to happen. People get programmed, and if they're programmed enough, long enough, with enough bad influences, they're capable of all kinds of awful things. But we have to find the benefit. There's got to be some benefit, some learning, some gem, something. And the more benefit you can find, by the way, the more you can let go, and the more you will shift that relationship within you. I know this is a bit of a heavy topic. And, you know, we always want to manifest and feel we've attained everything. But if this stuff is lingering underneath, then we can't come into those higher feelings very easily, because this is pulling us. So little exercise is to take the time, write down what happened, what either something you did or something someone did to you. Realize that you were under a negative influence and they were under a negative influence. And then write a list of as many benefits, real hidden secrets, things that turned out to help you in the long run, that you got out of it. And if you didn't get anything, find as many things as you can. It might be time to get the benefit now. Sometimes these things, they're really dark and we don't want to deal with it. And so we haven't found the benefit. But when you say, you know what, this has helped me to act differently in this way, eat differently, or spend time with different people, or don't do this, or change my mindset, or whatever it was. Most of us don't learn that much unless we suffer a little bit. How many people got sick and then sorted out their health after they got sick? How many people went broke and then figured out their finances? How many people had a terrible divorce and then sorted out their relationship? I mean, this just happens all the time. So there's benefit in these things. And so what happened and how did you benefit from it? And how can you benefit from it now? You can, even if you feel you've forgiven somebody or forgiven yourself, you can go back and rewrite your story. So in your mind, the end result of this is that when you look back into the past, you say, you know what, my past is great because even though these terrible things happened, I learned this and I learned this and I learned this and I changed this and I upgraded this. When you really extract the value out of it, resentment will turn into gratitude, and gratitude is a high vibration. And you'll say, you know what, I'm glad I met that person. I'm glad that that thing happened. I'm glad that I was in this situation. I was glad that so-and-so said this and did that. And this thing didn't work out because look what I got out of it. And you might be able to extract enormous amount of benefit today that you perhaps didn't get in the past. So if you want to increase your manifestation powers, take, some time. It might take a little while, but get your journal out. If you want, write down what happened, write down the experiences, and find all the benefits. If you can write pages and pages of benefit, you'll feel so good, and you'll say, you know what, everything has been working out for my benefit. This is a wonderful life, and even these things that happened actually were great on all these levels. The bigger the list and the more gratitude you feel, the easier you will manifest, and the more you'll feel confident, and the more you'll feel deserving of good things in the future. So go deep, enjoy. Hopefully this is helpful. Sending you lots of love, and talk to you in the next session. Take care.